And how well do you know your neighbors? Police say 2 women and a man were working from home. Their business, sex and drugs, in the middle of a quiet West Ashley neighborhood. Nicholas MacArthur and Lauren Sheely have been charged with prostitution, possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, and manufacturing methamphetamine, among other charges. Mandy Gilbert is charged with manufacturing methamphetamine. And I was actually in the neighborhood today and spoke with some neighbors who say the signs that something illegal was happening were all there.
Oh, yeah,
a seemingly normal neighborhood shaken up on Blue Dragonfly Drive. Just beyond those walls, Charleston police say they found evidence of prostitution and pornography and meth manufacturing. A quick Google search of the address shows a business called VIP Body Works with 3 X's, an entertainment agency. It's now permanently closed. Neighbors tell me people were popping in and out of this home every night, and rumors had been swirling for months. Neighbors say this is a very family-friendly neighborhood with lots of kids. The operation just a quarter mile from a rec center. And the investigation is ongoing. Several agencies are involved, including the Charleston Police Department, the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, Homeland Security, the DEA, and SLED. If you have any information, you're asked to call dispatch at 843-743-7200. The community developing at a rapid pace. More than 1,000 homes could be coming to an area some say is already overdeveloped, and now that growth could push some people out. What was once a quiet area for people to nestle in has become bustling with growth. Clements Ferry along Cainhoy Road. Now, more homes could be on the way. Do you think that there needs to be more subdivisions along Clements Ferry?
Not at all. I feel like they keep building on this road and they are not updating the main streets.
The proposed subdivision would be just under 600 acres and could add over 1,000 homes.
I have to pick up my son on the way home from daycare, and after that we sit in traffic the entire way home already. So if there's 1,000 more people, that's going to be awful.
I spoke to the Planning Commission with the City of Charleston. They say this development was in the Cainhoy Master Plan for years.
It's an area that we knew that more development was coming in, and it's been zoned for that.
I'm told groundbreaking could happen in 2022, but before that, there are still a few permits the developer needs.
The Planning Commission gave it their approval. It has a few other permitting steps, but then they can move forward with getting us all the details about the construction drawings and things like that.
For Alexa Sherland and her family, they may be moving if that neighborhood becomes reality. If they were to build a new subdivision on Clements Ferry, would that make you consider moving?
100%. Family time is extremely important to me, so if I lose that time with my son trying to drive home, it's just not an option for me. And many of you agree with Alexis. We took a Twitter poll and overwhelmingly nearly 90% say there is no need for another neighborhood. That 911 call is one of our staff members. He's sharing his experience but wants to remain anonymous about what he says happened. Does this scare you for the future?
A little. What if somebody who really desperately needs an ambulance, what would that person be able to do?
His heart rate skyrocketed, so the Somerville man called for help just to be safe.
They got me in the back of the ambulance, checked me out. And when I was leaving, I remember them saying, like, we're having some staffing issues right now.
That's nothing new. The question now, why hasn't it been addressed?
6 months ago, we talked about a raise that could be coming for EMS workers at the Dorchester County EMS. Has that happened yet?
Yes, ma'am, it has. We implemented a very significant raise for our EMS employees.
That's Dorchester County EMS Director Brian Watts. He says raises went out starting July 1st. Starting pay for a paramedic jumped to just under $24 an hour. For an EMT, it's over $17. Watts says the pay increase has helped fill roles and retain workers, but they're still down about 16 people.
So what kind of impacts is the lack of EMS workers having on the Dorchester County EMS?
Well, like I said, it is increasing response times. It does mean that there's less units available. We are working the employees that we have harder than then we should.
He says the average response time in November is about 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
We want to make 9 out of 10 calls in less than 9 minutes, and we make about 74% of those.
Watts says the department is now focusing on other ways to recruit.
By going through our associations and our national association, we're using social media. We are doing radio spots. We just started a campaign throughout the county that is focusing on public safety.
This is something you want to be seen fixed sooner than later.
Yes, because again, it's probably, I looked at it as a blip, but if it becomes a trend, then we're going to have more issues down the road.
Want to become part of the Dorchester County EMS team? I have hiring information over on my Facebook page. Reporting, I'm Amy Russo.
Tuesday, about 6 inches of water covered Haygood Avenue. Neighbors, they tell me this isn't uncommon though. Just last week, the water rose to this 4th step here, and neighbors, they tell me they're tired of it.
It's the harsh reality for some living in downtown Charleston.
Yeah, I gotta get my kids. I don't have no other way to get them right now.
That woman says she knew about the flooding issues before moving in, but she didn't have a choice.
I just moved down here no more than like 6 months now, and this is what I was told about.
Flooding with trash nearby, clearly unclean. That had this mom picking up her child so he wouldn't walk through the muck.
Kids walking through there and people driving through there. They don't know what they're driving through.
What they're actually driving through is tidal flooding from Gadsden Creek, which used to be a landfill. Arthur Lawrence lives downtown off Fishburne Street. He says he's been dealing with flooding for 70 years.
Hey, I have waterfront property.
Lawrence would like to see officials roll up their sleeves so he doesn't have to roll up his pants.
Over 70 years, I was dealing with this, you know. From day one, we had this problem and nothing done. Around 4 o'clock, people use it as a racetrack, creating wave to get out of the city and destroy people's property. So it's time for result and stop people playing around.
Reporting in downtown Charleston, I'm Amy Russo.
And our top story tonight at 5, 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty on all charges. He shot and killed 2 people and wounded another during protests over the police shooting of Jacob Blake. ABC's Rena Roy has emotional reaction from today's verdict in Wisconsin. Now Alec Murdaugh sits in jail, his family's money and assets frozen. Investigators are working to follow the money trail of millions of missing dollars. Could it answer questions like who killed Paul and Maggie Murdaugh? How did a housekeeper fall down a flight of stairs? And who was feeding Alec Murdaugh's drug addiction? Our Ann Emerson gives us an inside look at where the money could lead. The person has been charged as part of a suspected narcotics and prostitution operation at a West Ashley home. 50-year-old John Miller was charged with 1 count of prostitution. Miller was given a PR bond this afternoon. This all comes after a months-long investigation into a home on Blue Dragonfly Drive. An update on a story we first broke last month. It involves a prominent Mount Pleasant businessman, Dawson Caldwell, and a child sex trafficking ring he's accused of taking part in. Today, a third suspect, Jessica Mills, was denied bond. This trafficking case involves a minor from the Lowcountry. Ann Emerson was the only television reporter there. She's been on this case since the start. She tells us how investigators say Mills knew the minor and Caldwell. All right, thanks so much, Sonia. A new subdivision could be coming to the Clements Ferry area, and it sparked a lot of concern among neighbors. It would be right here off Cane Hoy Road. This section of Clements Ferry is being widened because of the growth. And according to the City of Charleston's Planning Commission, the new neighborhood, it would be just under 600 acres and could ultimately add over 1,000 homes. The threat of additional growth has some neighbors considering moving out.
And if they were to build a new subdivision on Clements Ferry, would that make you consider moving?
100%. Family time is extremely important to me, so if I lose that time with my son trying to drive home, it's just not an option for me.
Alexis Sherland lives in the Cane Hoy area. She says a drive that should take her 5 to 10 minutes to get to 526 has recently been taking her 45 minutes. Coming up on ABC News 4 at 7, I spoke with the Planning Commission and hear why they say this neighborhood has been in the works for years. And just into our newsroom, an employee at the Department of Juvenile Justice in Columbia says there was another incident at the facility. This is the second in as many days. The employee says juveniles got keys and got out of their cells. Senator Shealy says the current DJJ director, Eden Hendrick, is doing the best she can with their current situation. And speaking of traffic, a busy intersection in Monk's Corner could be seeing a traffic light soon. The growing subdivision on Foxbank Plantation Road has caused traffic concerns on Highway 52. Now they are one step closer to being resolved. Our Floriana Boardman spoke with Monk's Corner Community Development Director to see how long this process could take. You know, Sonia, I thought Dave had some cool graphics with his turkey that he had.
Did I beat him?
I think you just topped him with that football graphic.
Yeah.
That was amazing. How do you guys make that? I have no clue. Well, today kicked off the return of the Charleston Holiday Market. Vendors from all over set up shop at the convention center. ABC News 4 photojournalist Jason Ty was there to capture all of the sights and sounds and just how excited shoppers were to get involved. Good evening, I'm Amy Russo, sitting in for Tessa Spencer this evening. A cooler day is giving way to a pretty cold night. I just went outside, actually, Sonia, and it's really chilly out there. Here's a live look from our Sky 4 Network Storm Tracker meteorologist Sonia Stevens. Like we were saying, pretty chilly out there. Are we expecting that to continue through the night?
Yeah, temperatures will continue to drop between now and sunrise.